at the right way to deal with toxic family members. And we have Dr. Joshua Ndlela joining us in studio. He's a counseling psychologist and a student counselor at uni. So now, if we talk about conflict amongst family members, I'm sure most people can relate to this particular topic. It's something that's very common within our families. And these conflicts can negatively affect a person's mental health as well, which is why some people then decide on the cutting off culture, to say that you have cutted or ratted off your family members if they are causing you struggles with the mental health. So today we just want to find out whether this is the right route to take when there is a disagreement or a conflict amongst your family members, and also how does it affect you mentally. And we chat with Doc Doc, a warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Always such a pleasure to have you back with us. How are you feeling this morning?
Thank you so much. I feel much better.
Okay.
And excited. It's the end of the week, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Doc, we're talking about something I think it's very common in our friendships, in our work relationships as well. And I think it becomes more impactful when we look at our family members, and I call it the cutting off culture. Kulula to cut people off.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I want us to open up this conversation by finding out, Ndoba, how important is it for us to have good relations, especially with the family members, Zetu?
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for a very good question. I think families are the source of energies. Families, they give us values. They kind of mold us to be what we become. Families are the people where you share same visions, where you're supposed to share same visions, same values, same cultural beliefs. And that's where we draw our identities as human beings.
Okay.
What we are today, we are representing our families out there.
True.
So it gives that sense of belonging.
Okay. And also, Doc, what could be some of the most common reasons as yezibangele ingxabano or conflict, especially amongst the family members okanye abantu abazelwe kunye?
Yeah, see, one of the things that you have said earlier on when you were opening your statement was toxic. Whenever we talk about the word toxic,
sure,
we talk about the poison. That another word for toxic is poisonous. So we do get families who are poisonous.
All right.
Let alone friends or colleagues, but within amongst our family members. So they do actually put pressure on our emotional stability as well as psychological well-being. So you then find yourself that it's better to be with friends than to be with families.
Yeah.
So you need to be concerned about your whole mental health, whether it is under pressure from the family or from outside the family.
Sure.
The common reasons that we see a lot is that there's a lot of competition amongst family members. Lona uyinto ethile, lona akakwazanga ukuba abe into ethile. So ufumaniseka into yoba the other one is treated differently.
Yes.
Because khona into etsitsayo komnye kunomnye. Kube khona i-favoritism ekhoyo. We tend also to be jealous about each other's accolades or achievements.
True.
And that would actually also cause some toxicity amongst ourselves, because we pretend we are not being genuine because we are jealous of the achievements.
And people have made it even something to say intoba no mna ndiyamprethenda ubani, and they make it as almost as if it's something that's of a normality, if we can put it that way. I'm happy that you touched on that point.
It's the reality of the society that we are in, is that we are not always happy for somebody else's achievement.
Yeah.
We pretend to be happy, but inside is
Sure,
eating
sure.
us for us to see Obabalaji to be what she is, even if is part of the family members. So what is happening in the society, it is what is happening within the
our
families.
Sure.
So you also we see that those things, they're actually draining us.
And I'm happy you touched on that, Doc, because it brings me next to my next question. How can there any conflict? And I'm going to keep on focusing on family members, because I would think, like you were saying, Indoba, earlier on when we started our conversation, Indoba, the root of where we come from is built from our family. Yeah. Where we come from is who we are through our family members. How can then conflict with family members negatively affect a person's mental health?
You know, children who are raised within the dysfunctional families or toxic family members, and they tend not to do well amongst other people. And those victimized parents, when they were young, they tend to actually do what it was done to them.
Oh, man.
We must always remember that how we learn and how we behave, it is the results of what we have observed, and we imitate what we have observed. Yes. And then we model it to our own children. So if you grew up from where there is toxicity, what are you going to do? What are you going to model later on if you are not dealing with that when you are growing up? So we see that most of them, they can be emotionally distant, and they have a chronic conflicts amongst people. Okay. And they tend to be dominant. They want power. They want control. There's a lot of low self-worth. Okay. As a result of growing up in these dysfunctional families. Low self-esteem. You don't value yourself as you are supposed to value. Lastly, on that part, is that we also tend, when we are growing up from these families, tend to want to get validations from outsiders rather than to get validation within yourself. You can't validate within yourself if you were not validated when you were growing up that Josh, you are doing very well. Yeah. And that increase your confidence, your self-confidence. Sure. Then you don't need somebody else to tell you that you are good in what you are doing. Then people who are coming from those such toxicity, they want validation from the external rather than within.
Now, this conversation makes quite a lot of sense, Doc, because in conversations just in general, it's always said that abantu who were not paid attention to, one would even make an example, but if you were not a popular child back in high school, once you gain power at a later stage in your life, you tend to abuse it. And it shows in how you manage people. It shows in how you carry yourself. You spoke about something that I think is something very prominent kwabantu who tend to sort of abuse power when they are given power. Once you give them power, you see how they are not able to handle power well. And I think it speaks to that as well. I'm glad we touched on this. And I do want to find out from you, Doc, also with that said, is there a right time to cut off toxic family members? Maybe where you are feeling to a certain extent, you know what, we're never going to be able to fix what is happening right now with my family members. And if I'm with them, or I feel like when I am with them, I'm feeling some type of way. Is it right for us to say we can cut those people off completely from our lives?
I will be controversial on this one.
Okay.
Because it is a very good question and it's very sensitive. But we need also to be mindful that if your mental health is going down the drain and you're not looking after yourself, you won't be able to function optimally. Okay. And we get this drainage from our own families. Now you need to deal with your mental health, even if the family members are toxic on you.
Okay.
So you need to make decision.
Okay.
And one of the things that that's I would want to say, sensitive, we need to keep cordial relationships. And when you talk of the cordial relationship, is you need to be mindful not to be too self-revealing, because some family members, they can actually utilize what you are telling them to actually inflict pain on you.
Okay.
So you rather be having a cordial relationship with them. Do not revealing too much on them, even if they are family members, because you are guarding your mental health.
All right.
Two, you go also to the extent of making a low contact. When you talk of a low contact, we are talking about an option to say, I do not want to be in an environment where there will be so and so,
or I'm compromised.
Yeah, where I'll be compromised. Then you keep low. You keep it low.
Sure.
Do not always go there, because you are guarding your relationship, even within our family members. You know, we have noticed that we tend to create our own families now.
Yes.
Where we know that if I go to so and so, my friend, that person will treat me better than the one endizalwe kunye naye. And yet, lo ndizalwe kunye naye, where I was supposed to get good vibes,
love and support.
I do not get it. So you need to guard your own mental health. Okay. You need to take responsibility of that. Low contact with such people. Okay. The last one, which is the radical one, is to no contact. No contact at all.
That is when toxicity is just at the top level.
We have the right to protect ourselves against people who are toxic on us. Whether they are family members, they are human beings. They are human beings. We were born together, we grew up together, we were fed together. But if this person now becomes toxic on you, poisonous on you, putting pressure on your mental health, you need to protect yourself.
Okay. I hear it, Doc. And I want to add a very interesting dynamic to our topic. A lot of times, Doc, you find that we don't see ourselves as the toxic person. And in a lot of situations, we never realize whether I'm the one who's toxic. The family specifically that we are looking at. And I want you to just guide us, Nompolapol, on what we can also possibly pick up on our side as being the toxic person or being the person that brings toxicity within the family.
One of there are two names here that comes to my mind as you asked this question.
Okay.
A sociopath or psychopath.
Okay.
The sociopath, which is the question, is that people whom when you meet them, they cause this toxicity on you. You will notice that people are going away from you.
Okay. Okay.
They do not want to be within the same kind of environment with you. And these people, some of the people, do not even care why she or he is no longer coming, or whenever I come, he leaves.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And the sociopath, they do not even care about how you feel, by the way.
Okay.
It is all about them. It is all about, they are so hot-headed to a point that they can just abuse you anytime, publicly, make statement publicly that humiliates you, and they don't even understand that consequence of the statement or the public humiliation. They don't even care.
So does that mean they are unaware of what they are doing, or they just generally just don't care?
It's all about how they feel is fitted, is the need of power, of taking control of the environment that they are at. They will do anything, Babalwa, to actually get the control over the environment, whether within the family or not.
Okay.
They don't even care ukuthi umani ufilisa njani, as long londo bayithethileyo iza kubanika le power and control to a point within the families. The families, they get splitted.
Ish. Doc, to close off this in a mild way, how do people of this nature that we've discussed just now get help or seek help to be better people around their family members? Because ultimately, we want family members that are united.
I so wish that we can also be brave as family members as well, to tell the people.
Okay.
That man
Utoxic and usiphatha kakubi.
Woman. Can't you see that when you are talking after you have spoken kubanjani?
Yeah.
Can't you see that xana ungena omnye uyaphuma? You know, we need to be brave as well as the family members. We need to make efforts,
call them out,
to keep the relationship existing. We need to make efforts. But if those efforts are meaningless, just deal with it. Low contact, cordial contact, or no contact.
Doc, because of time, we could have this conversation many times if it were up to me, because I think this is the reality that we are living in within our families, within our communities. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Always such a pleasure to have you coming through with your wisdom and sharing it with Umpola Polina. Doc.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Babalo.
All right, 29.